determined to grow up hearts open to pursue the extraordinary. Because you are extraordinary. And now, it's your host, Catherine Lang.
Hello. Welcome to Growing Hope. I am Catherine Lang, your Hope Smith extraordinaire, your voice of encouragement, and we are on a journey to live our best lives. We are building up the foundation, the motivation, and the aspiration to live out what we are uniquely designed to do, to walk each step in purpose and on purpose. Because when we get this focus and this determination, there's nothing that can hold us back. When we believe that we are uniquely designed to do something, to be something, and to live something, then we do. So we are walking out. The last series that we did was all about learning to talk butterfly, learning to take flight into our possibilities. And now we're going to keep on keeping on until we bring our big dream goals to fruition. And today, this week, starts a focus on how we're going to keep learning. So last week, we kept caring. We learned how to keep caring. And today, in this week, we are focused on keep learning. Because if you're not learning, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, there's only one other direction that you can be going. So we want to keep growing, so that we become more and we share more and we spread more possibilities in the path that we're walking. This week, we'll be talking about how learning feeds the heart, how learning feeds the mind, how learning keeps you moving, how learning grows your moment, and how learning invigorates the daily routine. I changed that one. But today we are focused on how learning will feed your heart. Your heart is the spirit within you. It is the inner voice, the inner peace. And we need to be feeding that inner heart and that inner peace in order to be able to keep walking out our unique design. We are in this world, but we are not of this world. And that means the inner man is different from what the world requires. And often the world will look at you like you've lost your mind when that inner man, when you're feeding that heart. But when you feed the heart, it promotes a sense of purpose. It provides the courage and the strength that you need. It deepens the roots of hope. It weeds out doubt, and it cultivates appreciation when you feed the heart. Feeding the heart is about finding the things that allow you to rest in your understanding and your wisdom. So in order to get to this place, we have to be invested in what will grow the wisdom and the understanding. If I want to, I can go into the kitchen and I can make just about any dish that's possible with the ingredients that are in the kitchen. Sometimes I can make dishes that would not normally have been in a recipe, just utilizing the different bits and pieces. But that's because I have invested years in trying different recipes and testing out different dishes and playing with ingredients, playing with spices. My husband wants a recipe, and that's because he hasn't invested as much time and energy in learning new recipes. He wants to be able to do it right, and so he only does what he knows how to do. When we're learning and growing into our possibilities, we have to be feeding the heart the wisdom and the knowledge that it needs, and that starts with the word. If you determine over this next week to start feeding yourself the word first thing in the morning. Remember, we're called to give our first fruits. Give that first 5 minutes to the word. Read 1 chapter a day. Read 5 chapters a day. However much you can get read in that one section of time, but be invested in the word. And then once you're invested in the word, you begin to consistently feed the heart in a way that allows it to first promote a sense of purpose. The more that you understand the word, And the more that you become invested in the word and it settles into your knower. It is an essential part of who you are. Then the more you understand who you are. You are formed for such a time as this, on purpose and for a purpose. And that purpose has its roots in the word. The purpose is founded on the word. So when you get into the word and it is just essential to your daily routine, then you begin to truly understand what it is that you're uniquely designed to do. For years, I knew that I was called to encourage. But the world told me you can't do that. You can't make a living being an encouragement. And I was like, why not? Why would God give me this gift? Why would he give me the gift of gab and then tell me to be quiet? I never could understand that. And it's because I was listening to the world's rules instead of leaning into the word. But the more I have been just feeding the word into my heart, into my mind, the more I've begun to really pull away from all that stuff that the world told me and all the limitations that the world gave me. And I am truly leaning into my unique design. Yes, I am the voice of encouragement. I am daring you to live your best life because I know that you can. And because I know that you can, I want to help you and encourage you and support you and then sometimes hold you accountable on this journey. Because the more people that we have that are living their best life, the more people that are fully leaning into their unique design, the more we change this world. The world cannot hold us back when we are going all in with God. The world cannot hold us back when we're going all in with God. So let's go all in. Let's put the word first. And in doing so, feed the heart what it needs in order to understand its purpose. The second thing is that when we feed the heart with learning, with understanding, we provide the courage and the strength that we need in order to walk out this path because the world is going to attack. The more you're leaning into your God design, the more the world wants to stop you. I like to think about when they had come back to rebuild Jerusalem, and they're standing there. They're working on, they've got the different contractors working on the wall, and the enemy comes up and they start taunting them about how they're never going to be able to do this and that all the leaders are lying to them and they're all going to die. It's like that character from Atlantis, we were all going to die. And so they're not doing what they need to do. They're not building up the walls because they didn't have the understanding, the knowledge that the leaders had. The leaders knew that they had the right to be doing this and they had the protection to be doing this. Plus, they had the added benefit of that personal relationship with God. When we have that personal relationship with God, we can lean into our learning, and that learning will feed our courage and feed our strength so that we can take the next step. We may not understand it, and the enemy may still be standing there taunting us, but we have the courage to keep going. We need that courage in this world. We need that courage when this world's not attacking because it's different. It's different for each one of us. This path has never been walked before. And because the path has never been walked before, nobody can tell us what it's going to look like. All we can do is lean into God and trust 100% that he really is gone before us and really is coming behind us. And we're not in this path alone. But the learning that we invest in is what gives us that courage. It gives us that understanding. It gives us that strength to do what we are called to do because we are called to do something unique to each and every one of us. And learning helps us do that. The third thing that comes from learning how learning feeds the heart is that it deepens the roots of hope. I am big on spreading seeds of hope. I know I have seen it happen that with just a seed of hope, everything becomes possible. When we invest in growing up hope, we invest in growing up a world of possibilities because hope makes a way. Hope makes a way when there seems to be no way. Hope um, lights a heart that was struggling in darkness. Hope is the fuel that catapults us to the next step. So when we are feeding the heart, we feed the heart the ability to root this hope. And when we root it deep, deep down in our knower, then even when things don't go the way we expected them to, or even when something negative, the world attacks from completely out in left field, then we aren't left without hope. Many years ago, I was sitting there. I was just doing the regular day stuff, and a friend called and she said, "I don't want to talk to you anymore. Don't call me again. I will call you if I ever want to," and hung up. There was nothing in any of our conversations in the last year that would have indicated this call was coming. There's nothing that I had said or done because I didn't. I had never mentioned her in any way in anything. And just all of a sudden, she cut off ties. And it crushed me because this was one of my close friends. We had kids the same age, we did stuff together, and then all of a sudden, she's just gone. And if without hope, I would not have been able to, it would have been a harder struggle to recover. It's still a struggle to recover. I still remember how I felt to this day, but the roots of hope had been planted in me, and I continued to invest in my learning and in my growing, and those roots just got deeper. I hope one day that she will call. But I know that God will make a way for new friendships to grow and new friendships to bloom. And He's already doing that in my life because that's what happens. Hope gives us what we need. And when we invest in learning and growing, that hope roots deep inside us so that we can't be shaken by the storms. And the storms are going to come. Don't get me wrong, the storms are going to come. And sometimes the storms are there to clear out the debris that has settled around us. Sometimes the storms are there to nurture what we didn't even know needed nurturing. And sometimes the storms are there to distract us. But no matter why the storms show up, God will clear the way. And hope roots into us in a way. Learning feeds that hope so that we are standing strong through those storms. The fourth thing is that learning weeds out the doubt. There is nothing worse than weeds in a beautifully manicured garden. And what's worse is that if you don't pull up those weeds as soon as possible, just like learning feeds hope and the hope will grow those roots, not weeding that weed, not pulling that weed up will allow it to put down deeper roots. And once it puts down deeper roots, you have to go to all sorts of issues, trials. You have to dig, you have to hoe. Yeah, I mean, it's just trust me when I say the deeper the roots of the weed, the more difficult it is to get rid of it. And plus, it'll multiply and it spreads. And you do not want doubt weeds spreading in your garden. So when we invest in learning, we can pull up those weeds a lot faster. One, we will recognize doubt sooner. We'll see that doubt is moving into the situation, and we will be able to stop it. And two, we will know how to combat the doubt. So we'll recognize it faster and we'll have the ability to combat it. I over the last few weeks, we have been going through a lot of transitional period, and doubt wants to weasel in on my morning walks on a regular basis about every decision that we have made pretty much since time began. And I have started saying, and I said it to someone just the other day. I was like, you can't plow backwards. And I shared this on the show. You can't plow backwards. So whenever those doubts start to try to grow up in my mind, I just remind myself that I can't plow backwards. There's no reason to go over that. I need to just plow forward. And in plowing forward and putting my focus forward, I am pulling up those weeds of doubt. But it's my learning and my investment in learning that's giving me the ability to make that choice. And finally, the fifth thing is that when we invest in learning, we cultivate a heart for appreciation, a mind for appreciation, a life of appreciation. The more I learn about this journey, the more I learn about who I am and whose I am, the more gratitude I have for all that I am. And the appreciation is no longer about the stuff, but about the heart. So I see the connections that are being created through the storms. I see the opportunities that are being stirred up because of these moments that, 10 years ago, I would have only seen the trial. I would have only seen the tough times. But an investment in learning and growing has taught me to look for that positive, look for the hope, look for the seed of possibility that's being planted, and imagine what it's going to grow up into. So slowly but surely, I'm cultivating and continue to cultivate this appreciation for all that's been done for me. And despite what the world will tell me, despite what the world says or points at or shouts at me, what has been done for me is beyond anything that the world has taken away from me. That's not always easy, but practicing and investing in learning makes it simple, because it is the truth. The truth is simple, and the truth is that our God, our Father, our Daddy, is more than anything the world dares to take from us. And when we lean into that through our learning and through our understanding, then we get bolder in walking out our purpose. Look, you have to feed the heart. The heart will drive your journey. It is the heart that we see in others, and it is the heart that we expose in order to connect to others. So we need to be invested in learning the things that are going to feed the heart, because when we feed the heart, we promote our sense of purpose. We provide courage and strength for our journey. We deepen roots of hope that allow us to stand strong through the storms. We weed out the doubt that tries to dictate our path and to crowd and clog our path. And we cultivate appreciation for all that we are and all that we will be. Be invested in feeding your heart. Start with the word, look for gratitude, and continue to speak the truth that you find in the word that you're reading. The more you invest in learning, the bolder you become in who you are uniquely designed to be. We're going to continue talking about learning over the next several days. Please join me, bring a friend, and let's keep on keeping on living out our unique design in bold, purposeful focus. If you are struggling in any way to find your unique design, I am here to encourage you, to support you, and to help you any way that I can. Just go over to catherinelang.com, the website, catherinelang.com. You can see it right there at the bottom of the screen if you're watching on the video, or just catherinelang.com. You can also find me at growinghoperadio.com. Wherever you go, there is a button there. It says, let's chat. Let's chat. Thank you again for joining me. Until next time, remember, whatever it is you're doing, be uniquely you in what you're doing, and be bold and purposeful in doing it. Until next time, be blessed and be a blessing.
Thank you for joining us for Growing Hope with Catherine Lang, where we are sharing hope, encouragement, and inspiration to do more. Visit www.catherinelang.com to invite Catherine to be part of your event or to share your own stories of possibility living. Until next time, remember that a seed of hope planted and nurtured will grow up into a world of possibilities.